Welcome to Contemplative Living, where we view contemplations for the week to have a better understanding of our spiritual paths. This is Contemplative Living with Dave Bennett, contemplations and reflective meditations. Welcome to another Contemplative Living, where we talk about concepts to bring contemplative living to daily life. So I'd like to read a little something from Gabrielle Marcel. She says, contemplation and wisdom are highest achievements, and man is not totally at home with them. Isn't that so true? We are not comfortable many times acknowledging our wisdom, acknowledging what we may learn or gain from our contemplation. And so it behooves us to take a few minutes and to pay attention to, boy, I got everything going here, and pay attention to and be present in our lives. Many times we don't pay enough attention in our lives. So let's start out with, even though the world is unpredictable and filled with uncertainty, we can choose how to react. This is so true in our days, especially now. Every day there's something new being thrown at us, and how we perceive it and how we react to it is our personal power. How we react is ours. It's personal. It's the way we believe. And if we are living within our ideals, living within our goals of being contemplative people, of being people with a peaceful center and living clearly, seeing clearly, so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves and others, then we need to pay attention to ourselves. We need to nurture ourselves and give ourselves what's best for us. Okay. I give a shout out here to Shirley. Good morning, Shirley. Glad to see you're here. And we're trying to be the best people that we can be. Everybody feels that way. We're always working on ourselves. But it's not always the case. That's not always the case. Many times we get so caught up with the circumstances, with that unpredictable uncertainty that pervades the world these days, that it pulls us away from our center, and so then we have to work on ourselves. But the neat thing is the quicker that we recognize what it is that we're trying to achieve, we can come back to center. We can take a few deep breaths, and we can be aware. So the seed of higher awareness is always within us and has always been a part of every moment of our life. So our expansive awareness is always available, but we have to tune into it. It takes an effort on our part to have it become a part of every moment. Living in this life is a challenge. Being human is a challenge. Spirit knows that. And Spirit's very compassionate with us. Spirit's always waiting to help, but we have to connect to that higher awareness. We have to be aware that it resides within us and that we have this available to bring forward into our every moment. I like this illustration because it's an exaggeration of this elk, that his many times we're walking around and we don't know what what's on our head. We don't know what we're carrying around half the time. So to be aware, to be aware and to be able to bring that awareness into our present moment is critical. And it's also a great step in self-care, to help bring self-care, into our lives. We need to nurture ourselves. So, build resilience, find healing, and discover that challenging times hold opportunities for renewal. So, if we work on ourselves and we build a resilience, then we can find that healing quality within ourselves that nurtures ourselves, that buoys us up, that gives us the energy that we need in these challenging times. And when we're coming from that place, we can see that the challenges do hold opportunities. I know that in my personal journey, that there were some incredibly difficult times, but within those difficult times, I saw the opportunities of growth and of renewal within my being. Today, a lot of times people are being judged, they're being shamed many times for things that they did in their past. And we're talking about like way past, okay? Like maybe when they were 14, they made a silly mistake. And for some reason in our culture today, we're bringing those things forward and we're shaming these people. We're taking away their livelihoods. We're doing some atrocious things that you know, and we don't recognize that people do change. People do grow up. People do improve when they're trying to live in this contemplative way of living. So, are we so great, so beautiful that we should judge other people for something that they did when they were in their teens? I don't think so. So we need to build that resilience. Okay. We need to build forgiveness, find healing. All of that is nurturing for our being. So give some more shout outs here. I see Jean is here. Good morning, Jean. And Mary Beth. Hi, Mary Beth. I'm glad you're with us this morning. And Justine. Great. I'm glad you guys are here. Smiles and hugs to everybody. And we're going to move along. So, whoops, I didn't get rid of Justine. Sorry. Nature provides spirit guidance for us on our paths. So now we were just talking about how, we have to care for ourselves. Well, spirit and nature work together to provide a lot of synchronicity. And not everything that we see or perceive is a message, but many times things that are a little out of the ordinary, like like this image. If I were to see this, this is not something normal in my life. And so to see a pink flamingo in my path would I would have to take a moment and try to figure the message out there. What is it trying to tell me? Is it telling me to stand tall and to be who I am? Maybe. Depends upon the circumstances of the moment. But in our day-to-day life, just the other day, yesterday, Cindy and I were driving, and this hawk started flying right alongside of the car, right alongside the car. Now, we see hawks around our property, and we see osprey all around us all the time. Once in a while, we'll see an eagle, but this hawk was different because he was flying right alongside the vehicle as we were driving, keeping pace with us. So, you have to take that moment and say, wow, what is nature trying to tell me? What guidance is there in this moment? And so I recommend that you be aware. I grew up in my teen years. I grew up in Central Arizona, and and I was almost adopted. You could say I was kind of adopted by my friends' mothers and grandmothers who were Native American, and they showed me a natural way of living where you pay attention to your surroundings and what's going on in in your surroundings, in your circles, in your past. You hear me talk about circles and past a lot. And that comes from that time period in my life when they were trying to get this unruly teen, and believe me, I was a teen that did a lot of silly things, and to get this unruly teen to start to live within his environment, within his circles. So I encourage you to pay attention to nature. It's it's an incredible teacher that shows us many ways and brings to mind a lot of what we need to be aware of. So let go, let be. Anyone who totally wants to be free releases their dependency and addictions. Now, we're all addicted to something. Are we addicted to social media? Are we addicted to the some news broadcast or something like that? And it takes up a part of our being. Well, we become slaves to that, to those tendencies, to those addictions, to those dependencies. Um, Something that we have to do all the time. We then become slaves to it. So we need to be aware and be careful. Now, I'm not saying don't watch the news. I'm not saying don't be on social media. I'm just saying be aware that you are in control and that the dependency that there isn't, you're not building a dependency, that it's not becoming an addiction to you. So the best way to deal with that is to just let it go. Let it go. Let it be what it is. And allow yourself the strength and fortitude to be who you are. It's very empowering once you recognize what it is that you're addicted to. Um, Many times we do. I mean, it's so easy these days because it's very easy to. You know that I'm on Twitter. You know that I'm on Facebook. You know that I'm on Instagram, on Pinterest. So I have all these social media accounts, but people think that I'm on these accounts all the time. And that's really not the case. I spend some time in the morning. I do my morning contemplations. I write them down and then I put them out on the social media and I schedule some other posts and I put them in, some tools. I use Hootsuite. I don't know if I'm allowed to say things like that online, but I use that tool, and then it schedules it out for the day so that I'm putting little streams of consciousness out all day long. That's rewarding to me. It's fulfilling to me. So I don't see it so much as an addiction as a part of my spiritual path. Now, I don't bother to go back online and check. I don't get obsessed and go back and check on how is it doing? What's going on? I just allow it to unfold in its natural path. Now, the next morning when I go in, if there's a lot of comments on things, I'll respond. But I let it go. I let it be what it is. I put my stream of consciousness out there and then I let it be so that I don't feel like I'm a slave to Facebook and Twitter and all of these things. So, in your downtime, actively observe the world around you. Take time off from work, but not from learning. So, a lot of times in our downtime, we may want to just veg out. And believe me, I get it. There are times when I have put so much into my day that into my work that when I come, you know, away from work, I just want to veg out, and I feel like, okay, I need me time. But I found that the best me time is to pick up a book, to read something inspiring, to look at things that you know in bring me joy, bring me peace. Um, Now, nature, like this image shows this gal, she is just celebrating being out in nature and observing this majestic scene that's in front of her. She's observing the world around her. She's taking that in. It strengthens our being to be aware of our surroundings. I was talking about my youth in Arizona and how I was taught to live this natural way of being aware of your surroundings. When you're doing that, it feeds your being, it feeds energy into your being so that you can be a stronger person when the challenges do arise. And that's kind of what it's all about. So to kind of summarize, this last one is a great summary of be who you are. Live in authenticity. Use your strength of character and confidence. Wouldn't it be great if we could walk into our lives and be who we are? We were talking about, I kind of got on a little bit of a soapbox there about how people are shaming other people for things that they did in the past. This is an example of be who you are, live in authenticity. Realize that, hey, we've all made mistakes, but we can all grow from our mistakes and we can all move forward and we can be more, you know, we can build our character. We can build and be a strong character in our society, in our communities, and don't be afraid to stand up for someone who's being shamed or being ridiculed when it really isn't justified. You know, don't be afraid to step up to them and say, "Hey, I understand. You've come a long way and I know you're doing better." Be confident in who you are and project that into everything that you do. So, I know I kind of got a little off there today, but these are things that really are frustrating in today's society. We see where we take away people's um, you know, right to exist, or and they have to like seclude themselves because we shame them. And I really, really have a hard time when in our society we feel like shaming someone. Um, we live in a world where there's diverse opinions, and we have to respect other people's opinions. Now, it may not be your path, and this is something that I saw in my near-death experience, where I have been exposed to things that just I was not happy about, and I can honestly say that I didn't care for. But I recognize that that is someone else's path, and that was their choices. I don't have to agree with it. We can have a discussion about it, but I'm not going to try to downgrade them or demean them into some sort of power struggle, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to learn from each other. We're here to dialogue with each other. We're here to move forward. So that's what I recommend. That's this is my personal opinion. If it doesn't feel right, you don't have to wear it. So another shout out. Hey Ken, I'm glad you were able to join us again today. Um, and I hope you're going to have a good Sunday. All right. So I want to thank you all for listening to my ramble today. I did get a little lengthy in some things, and I see we're coming up on the 20-minute mark. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great Sunday. Namaste.